Hi there, and welcome to this bonus episode of the Gazette's Hockey Inside Out show. I'm Stu Cowan of the Gazette, and I'm joined by former Canadiens teammates and 1986 Stanley Cup champions, Sergio Momesso and Rick Green. Kirby Dach and Yuri Slafkovsky have both been struggling this season, and Martin St. Louis decided to move them both down to the fourth line. Sergio, you're a former forward. What kind of message does that send to a player when that happens?
Well, obviously the coach is not happy of your performance. The thing is, so-called fourth line, they're both players that can play, obviously, an offensive type game. So it's not like I get sent down and I'm playing with, back in our day, the fourth line was two fighters or really just dumping in and chase and hit anything that's out there for about 35, 40 seconds and try to create some energy for the team and hopefully maybe get a goal or draw a penalty for the other team so your team can get a power play. I remember if I watched the game last night, they were on the first power play because they ended up getting out there as well. So you punish them, but then you need them to score on the power play. Obviously, he wants to send a message, the coach, Marty St. Louis, but he definitely needs them to score and produce. Because you can't just have, let's say, Suzuki and Caulfield and Gallagher getting all the points or getting the goals and stuff. They need to contribute as well. So you got to get them going. You can't just play them 12 minutes on the fourth line and make your point. It's a tough situation there for the coach because the team is not deep enough to go forward like that. But I get the idea, and it's frustrating. I'm sure. I was watching the game a bit, and I was hoping that Kirby Dach had some chances, and he looked frustrated, and then obviously was on the ice for that last goal in the 3-on-3, which was broke his stick and definitely frustrated. So those guys need to start feeling good again quickly and having fun playing hockey. And when you're losing like that, it's not fun. And I know Doc, I give him a little bit more of a leeway because he's been hurt and out for such a long time. And I know being out with a long injury for a year, it takes time to get your game back. It's not that simple. But, he had some chances yesterday, and hopefully he can start burying them.
What were you thinking when you saw that, Rick?
Well, I mean, Martin St. Louis is trying to push all the buttons to get these guys, where they should be and what the expectations are. And, it's not happening, and they put them down there maybe to get them a little upset and maybe get them to respond with a little more intensity. But I mean, I'm watching them play. It's like I know Doc is coming off a big time injury, but I said before, you control the intensity and the desire to really want to show up and make the difference. And these two guys seem, and again, it might be a combination of who they're playing with, they're not happy with, but you know what? You're a paid professional. You get out and you have to show up and respond to whatever the situation is, and that's through effort. And if you're going to go through the motions or almost show up, that's not good enough. And I see these guys, kind of in second gear. There's no sense of urgency to make the difference, and that's not acceptable. And I don't know where you go to get them to, perform the way that you would hope they would perform. But putting them on the fourth didn't work from what I saw. I don't know if the next move for some of these guys is to put them up in the stands. Is that going to, trigger something that says, figure out what you need to do next game because you're not doing it with what I'm trying to do by shuffling you around to different line combinations. And it's disappointing to see that they're not responding a little more positively in showing a big time effort and showing that they're really angry with what's going on.
So, Rick, when you were assistant coach with Claude Julien, I'm sure there was times you put guys down to the fourth line. What's the coaching discussions like before you make that type of move?
Well, it's all tied into performance and the willingness to make the difference in the game. But whether it's 4 or 6 or 8 minutes per game, it's when you're on the ice, you make something happen or you do what you're supposed to be doing with your capabilities. And if the players don't know at this point what they're supposed to be doing every time they get on the ice, that you got a problem. And when you see guys that are given opportunity and they don't respond, then I'm sorry, but they have to be held accountable, and you have to back them off, because it's just not it's not what you want to see happening with these guys that are supposed to be showing up and playing.
Sergio, you were a really young guy when you broke into the NHL with the Canadiens, and things are different today, money wise and whatnot. Slafkovsky has an 8-year, $60.8 million contract that kicks in next season. Could that maybe be weighing on him already, or factoring into the way he's been playing this season?
I wish I knew that. I wish I had that, problem and to go into a season making that type of money. But listen, one thing I could say is that being a left winger, big guy like him, I mean, I knew I had to play rugged and I had to get in people's faces, and I don't see. Obviously, I would fight as well. I'm not saying he has to fight, but he has to play a grinding type game to be effective and use his body and play with a little bit of edge, like Rick is saying. Because what happens is you end up changing. I talked. I'll talk a little bit of like when I played on a line with Peter Zezel when I was in St. Louis. I'm skipping to St. Louis, and I played with, I don't remember who the other winger was, but it was like a second, third line, and we were always like up and down. We knew where we were going. We knew how we had to play, and I had to, for me to help this line, I had to play that certain way, so I give those guys more room to maneuver on the ice. And then Brett Hall was put on that line, so we knew that Peter and I had to. Peter had to win the faceoffs. I had to get in front of the net. We had to create the room to get the puck to Brett to score. And as a line, if we did that, we're okay at getting assists as long as our line is scoring and it's helping the team. Then when I change with, let's say, with Adam Oates, I end up playing with Adam and Brett, and they're a little bit, Adam's not like, say, a grinder. He's more, he wants to hold on to the puck, gain the zone, then look for the late guy. So I have to drive the net to bring the D back a little bit. And if there's a shot, there's a screen, and I'm there for a rebound in case. And I know that Adam is looking for Brett coming late in the slot and this and that. So you adapt to different centers. And if I started to play, and it happened, I started to play their style of game where I tried to be fancy and make plays, and that it didn't work. And I think that's the problem with Slafkovsky. He plays with good players. Then he wants to play fancy and make these nice little plays, which will come if you work hard. And I think you can't change your game. You're on that line because they need you to play a certain way. And I think he has to be told, you got to play that way no matter who you play with. And then you're going to help that line get better if you play that way with your size and strength around the net and create chances for the other players. And I think that's what he needs to be told.
Yeah, I asked Marty St. Louis recently if he thought about putting Slafkovsky back with Suzuki and Caulfield just to sort of try and get him going. And he said, not yet. And then he talked about how his engagement needs to be better and his feet need to move more. And like when you do all that kind of stuff, that's when good things will happen. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out as the season goes along. That's it for this Hockey Inside Out Show bonus episode. Hope you all enjoyed it. Please make sure you like and subscribe to the Hockey Inside Out YouTube channel. Go to MontrealGazette.com/newsletters to sign up for the Hockey Inside Out newsletter. And of course, go to HockeyInsideOut.com where you get all the latest Canadiens news every day. Also, if you have a bonus question you'd like us to answer in a future episode, please put it in the comments section below. We always like to hear from you.